I've raised the unit up and blocking for easier access underneath. I want to check out the frames and see what I have to do to remove the body from the frame. I have access underneath and a mat I can crawl around on, so we'll get underneath and check out the bolts. Here's the bolts underneath holding on. These are the ones, I believe I counted 10 of them coming through. So I'll have to go around, either try and wrench those off. They're pretty rusty. I may have to cut them off and just replace them. Now this is a cross member that goes across. It's just made out of thin, maybe 1/8, 1/16 metal, probably 1/8 metal. It's just a bracket just to support the floor. But here are the screws coming through from the top, so they did drive them through from the inside into here. It's probably just to keep the floor flat to here, so I'll have to get those and cut those off. Now this pipe here, this is a 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch pipe, the gas pipe. So they had it running down, that's fronted trailer. They had it running down inside, elbowing over to here. It goes down, down there. I don't know if you can see, but it goes over the axle. And they have on that, I think they have a couple manifolds coming up to feed all the gas stuff on this side. And then I believe the pipe jogs over again, over to that side of the trailer, goes up, and there's a couple more manifolds there to take the I think it's 3H copper tubing that goes up through the floor. So this pipe, I'll probably just take this off as is and replace the whole thing. I might as well go new. Gas pipe's fairly cheap. And this should just drop right down. What I'll have to do first is disconnect the pipes here first. And I believe there's probably pipes on the other side. There's probably a pipe coming in from the other side from the sink, the gray water from the sink in the kitchen. Whereas over here, this is gray water from the shower. And yeah, just gray water from the shower. So those pipes will have to be taken off. This is just all my brake wires. I'll just replace that. That's probably 10 gauge wire, double stranded and then wrapped in this protective sheath. I'll replace it with the same thing. Then all my sewer piping, once I drop this down, it looks like here they've had a temporary repair on it just with flexible hose. I'll look around. Maybe I'll just replace all the pipe, just get all new stuff. Even if I do change things around a bit, there might be slight variances in the configuration, the layout of the pipe. So right now, then I want to get the pipes either cut or disconnect it. I want to drop the tank. I want to get rid of all my gas piping and any loose wires and whatnot that's hanging there. So basically, the axle will stay on, and then I'll have to figure out how I'm going to, and yeah, after I cut all the bolts or get rid of all the bolts from the nuts holding it together, then I'll have to actually jack up the floor to raise it off the frame, and then figure out a way there to separate the two. The wood on the floor underneath seems fairly solid. It's hard to say, maybe there might be rotten spots, and that rotten spot inside there with that white wood, I can't remember. I think it was under this bracket here. Where's my door? Door's over there. I don't know, one of these two. Once the frame is off and it's separated, I'll be able to tell if the wood is good or not. Another thing I'll have to, when I do have the frame off, I will have to rig up some kind of wooden framing underneath for support, because I don't want to be walking around inside the trailer with it jacked up and with no cross supports, because chances are I will come through the plywood. Okay, we'll try and get these bolts off. First I'll try and wrench them off. And this one seems so far okay. If I do run into troubles there, I'll just have to cut them off and replace them. Okay, here's all the bolts on the inside. They're actually only about maybe 2.5 inches long. So I'm going to actually keep them. I may have to reuse them because they do seem to be a specialty item with this flat top like this. The other option is to get a carriage bolt with a washer, but when I do that I have to dig down in the plywood floor a bit more. But for now we'll pop these out best we can. I'm just going to work my way from the back of the trailer to the front. So right now I'm on the Propane Connections at the back. So there's two on this side. So basically this steel pipe comes in here under the trailer. This is a 3/4 inch wrench, and then it's just got the manifold going up here for one appliance. This is probably for the fridge, and if you look just over here 6 inches this way, there's another one that's probably for the stove, either that or vice versa. So I'll get these off. I'm going to try and keep all this piping intact for the pattern, how it's laid out. Chances are though I'll check into costs and I probably will replace it. Okay, so there's those two propane. There's one there and one there I've unhooked. That's a line coming down there, and it just stretches across to the other side here. So this is where the door, this is the door side of the trailer. So on this one here on the door side, here's the steel pipe coming across and the two propane connections coming up here. So one would be for the oven and the other one's probably for the hot water heater. Now this is a rear gaucho unit. The layout could be slightly different on the other models. And this is a Neonex trailer. That's where it was manufactured. So if you have another one, they could have had different manufacturing process if it's manufactured at a different factory. For my plumbing underneath, I'm going to try and keep the existing pipes the way they are, just in case I can't find replacements. So here they've only got this join. This is coming out of the brown water tank. So basically it comes down here and then it just goes in the outflow here, but it's just joined with a rubber. So I'll just cut this and then replace that if I have to. I'd like to replace all the pipes, but just in case I can't. There. So here's my, that's coming out of the black water tank. That's all in one piece, so I'll just cut this off. I'll just cut the brackets off. There we go. So that's all in one piece. There's a pre-existing where I cut, so I do have to replace this. This should be relatively easy to replace, this size of pipe. As I'm taking out a lot of those bolts coming up, a lot of them are snapping. So here's the one I found just inside the front door. Here's the thing for the door here. This one appears to be a carriage bolt, but it's just turning underneath, so I'm just going to have to grind it out from the top. If I do dig out here a bit, I'll just have to repair that with fiberglass. So I'm just going to get the grinder, get in at it any way I can. So I've ground that down as best I can. I have dug out a lot of the existing fiberglass that was in there. There's the plywood there. I'll just have to patch that back in later. Now I'm just going to have to give this a couple whacks from the top and hopefully it'll pop out. There we go. I've worked my way halfway up the trailer here. It's come along pretty good. I'm just going to cut the, this is the vent pipe here for the gray water tank. I'm going to just cut it here and leave all this attached, and then I'll see how that comes out. Then here's the bracket, the front removable bracket for the gray water tank, and that's got a nut and bolt on here, and same thing on the other side. I'll get that and we'll drop the tank. Okay, there's that. Oh, and actually that looks like that's just going to twist out of there pretty easy. So this should be easy enough to replace. I was kind of concerned that it might break down there, but so far so good. And next step is the bracket here, the nut for the brackets. Okay, I've got the one bracket off this one side here, and it looks like it's going to move. So if I just get this out of the way, this should probably just drop. Oh no, I do have to go to the other side. There is another connection. Here's inside the trailer. This is the door side. So this is where your sink is. This pipe here just goes straight down to the floor and probably right into the top of the gray water tank. So that'll have to be cut off. While I'm here, here's the propane lines that were attached. So I just pulled up. There's two holes here. I just pulled those up out of the way. So we'll just cut this here. And it's just got some silicone around it, but that should, once I move that bracket down there, that should come right down. I hope it doesn't break anything underneath. Maybe I'll help it along a bit. They've got silicone here. I'll clean all this up. Okay, actually I think I can twist this off. Okay, so here's that's the female end of for the gray water tank. So that should just drop straight down right now. Shouldn't, once I take that bracket off. Piping's disconnected on both sides. This thing is swiveling here right now, so I think that should probably just drop right down. Come forward a bit to get it off that. Probably it's just jamming up here a bit with that lip on that on the inflow. Yeah, went back up top, got rid of all that silicone around the hole, and that should give it enough. I'm hoping to drop out. With that water tank out underneath, like the frame is still supporting the floor here, but I noticed with that water tank out, you don't have all that space for support. So I noticed the floor has a lot more give. So this basically, I'm just standing on 3/4 inch plywood. There might be a beam here and maybe one here, but so you do need that there. And also, while underneath, just down by the door here, just on this side of the door on the inside, there is another bolt that I found. So I'll have to go underneath just this side of the step and get that bolt off. This is underneath, so this being the step. And there's that bolt right there, that extra bolt. So I'll have to get that one off as well. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see, these are the screws coming through. I think there's only about 6 or maybe 8. There's one on these front ones too, so I've got to get these off because they're coming through from the inside. I can't find them inside, so I'll just take the grinder. I'll just grind the hole a little bigger. I can always put the new screws in a different spot. Once I drop the frame, the weight of that should hopefully separate it. The blocking at the back, I'll leave that in place. Blocking at the front, I took that out, so now it's just resting on the jack stand. And what I've got set up underneath here, so blocking, I'm getting this up as high as I can, a couple of 3-ton jack stands, and then just on the floorboards I've got a 2x6 or a 2x8, actually there's a couple together there, so when I go back and let the blocking out and slowly let the trailer down, these should take up the weight in the middle, and then hopefully the frame should, if I've removed all the fasteners, the frame should start removing from the body. We'll give her a go.